Hello and welcome. This video is going to introduce our embedded project. It's about smart classroom. We are going to now talk about the aim of the project. It helps the coordinator of the classroom to check which students have attended or not. It also has an exam mode where the exam is being counted on the LCD screen. The counter is incremented every second. Everything is shown in a prototype way. We're going to now switch to my fellow Ayman to explain a little bit of the project in more details.
So, as Hisham said, it helps the proctor to coordinate the examination room or the classroom in normal conditions. As we can see, we can reserve. We can reserve seats, and this part explains the outside part of the classroom, that it shows which seats are available and reserved. So students can know, they can enter the class, or they have an available space they have. Also, in examination mode, we have an examination mode which tells us, which the proctor can set the start time or the duration, and they can start it in the end. So there is a counter that tells students that the examination will start in 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and then it shows them the remaining time of the exam.
We're now going to talk about the LCD screen. Our LCD screen had to be made in a special situation where not all the entire screen is cleared at once. Every row is being cleared by itself to display the data that you are seeing right now. For example, if now we had one less student, we're not going to erase all the screen, we're only going to erase that line, only that row. Also, what we have also done is that we took care about the time function. So, for example, if we had a number that is less than 10, we had to append a 0 before it. So that's why we were able to do the 0-2, even though the number was only 2. Other than that, we also had a time function to change from integers to minutes, seconds, that conversion to time conversion. Other than that, I guess there's nothing more. Also, of course, do not forget our why not systems display that's always being shown at all time. I'll show you now the code that we have explained in the previous part of the video.
As we can see, we have the first function, that's a clear LCD row that empties the first row in case the proctor changes the examination mode to set it on start time or duration. And we have our second function, print2, that helps us to show a 2-digit number on the LCD screen.
Well, now we're going to talk about the conversion of time. What will happen is that we only take seconds. So we need to do a little bit of conversion. First of all, we do normal division and modulus of the number because we wanted to know the remaining. After that, the remainder is calculated to the hours, and that's it. That would be it, because the seconds on the end is only the remainder of what was left from the hours and the minutes. After that, there is nothing more to see in that part. We are now going to show the most funny part about the whole entire project. Now, as you can see, we only initialize the reset, enable, and for the data pins only from D4 to D7. You're gonna ask, why only these? Well, the answer is kinda easy, because these are the ones that work. If you can see, what happens in here is that we only use the D4 to D7. However, the D0 to D3 are left on the ground and are not used. That's it, that's how the screen works. Now we're gonna talk about the punchometer with Ayman.
As the punchometer controls the contours of the screen as we move. That controls the contours of the screen and able to show output. Also, we have the last 2 pins is a backlight of the LCD, and the first 2 pins are the power. The power of the LCD that helps us show our functionality in this project.
So here we're gonna reserve the seat. When I click the button, the LED lights, that means that the seat is reserved, and so on for the other buttons. And if I click it again, the seat becomes unreserved. I'm gonna explain the seat toggle pins in the code. Okay. So first of all, we have the seat toggle action is initialized by 0, and we have 6 seat pins, which is for the 6 seats. and we have seed pins debounce time. And then we have the current state, which are initialized, current state and previous state, which are initialized by low because the seeds are not reserved. Then we have the special toggle action. Then we have the special mode time control pins. There are 2 pins, and we have the special mode time control pins debounce time, and that's similar to the one up there. We have current state and previous state. And then, okay, so here in the loop method function, we have toggle buttons listener, which is called in the loop function. We have the size of the seed pins and the seed pins, and the debounce time and the current state and previous state, and toggle action as our parameters. So the function is here. Okay, so the function, as I said, the parameters. Now we have the for loop. The for loop goes through all the pins, the toggle pins, and then we have the reading is initialized by the digital read of that pin that we are pointing at right now. And then if the reading is high and the toggle values of the previous state is low, and the milliseconds minus toggle pins debounce time greater than the debounce. The debounce we have initialized up there. It's 175 unsigned long. We tried the values until we got it right. And that means that he pressed the button, so we need to toggle it right now. So if it's high, we're gonna make it low. And if it's low, we're gonna put it as high. And then we put the debounce time, because every button has the corresponding debounce time, so it's gonna be the time of the milliseconds right now. And then we have the previous states, we're gonna give it the reading that we initialized up there. And then we call the onToggle function, which takes toggle action, toggle values current state, and the index we are in.
Now we'll talk about how we set up the timer. First of all, we disable all interrupts so that nothing wrong happens when giving the values to the timer. We give the value, the reg value as 3035, which is equivalent to 1 second with a prescaler of 256. And then we enable the timer and enable interrupts. What the timer does is it counts 1 second, and we have a variable up here, one for start time and one for duration. The one for start time, in exam mode, the teacher can put the start time to the exam, and after the start time ends, we start counting the duration, and when the duration ends, we turn on the buzzer. Okay, so when the timer overflows, as in when 1 second passes, we enter the interrupt service routine here. We reinitialize the timer to pass another 1 second, and we check if the special mode is started, and we check about the input from the pin. If both are correct, we go to the special mode start time. If the start time is not 0, we decrement it. If it is 0, then we move on to the duration. And then in the duration, we also check if it is not 0 after decrementing it, and the mode start is equal to 0, we decrement the variable given to the duration. When the mode duration gets to 0 and the start time gets to 0, we send a 1 to the buzzer so that it opens, and we give false the flag that enables the special mode.
As Muhammad Adel explained before, we use an examination mode to display a mode for the exams. It was already enabled. When you enable the examination mode, all the lights are turned on. So we have a duration and a starting time for the examination. This switch is used to explain the time. We have the starting time of 1 minute, meaning that the exam will start in 1 minute exactly. 2, 3, we can increment it using this button. Then we can switch to the duration, pressing here. The duration is 1 minute for the exam. 2, 3. We didn't have enough time or space exactly to put a minus for the duration, so we can just increase it. After that, with pressing start, we'll start with the starting time, decrementing till it reaches 0. After that, it will start the duration of the exam. Okay, so in our code, we control all these buttons and switches using the onToggle method. This method has a switch representing the first 6 buttons for the seats and the 2 other buttons and switches for the examination mode. At first, for case 0, we are representing the first 6 buttons for the seats. Each time we press a button, we will check all the pins. If it's high, we will increase the number of students to be displayed later on the LCD screen. After that, we will check for each low button. We will turn off an LED. If it's a high, we will light an LED using digital light. Then we will light the seats bin visible from the outside. These ones here. This can be seen from outside, different from the examination mode or in classroom students. Then we will write number of students is string number of students. Available seats is. Moving on, in case 1, we are controlling the first 2 buttons and 2 switches for the exam mode. In case the index is 0, representing the plus button. This button increases the start time or the duration depending on this switch. So if it's a start time, we will increase it, then print the starting time is equal get time format special mode start time. Or if it's set to high, we will increase the duration. In the second case, or this button, we will start the timer. The timer will start decreasing until it reaches 0. Then the starting time will disappear and duration appears. After the duration ends, we will start the buzzer and play the annoying sound we know.